Sunday. I had the event in my hometown. I was able to do a few laps with the Formula One car in the roads that I knew since I was a little boy. So many people came, and it turned out to be more than 120,000 people, which was amazing. The motorway was blocked, and it was fantastic. You know, so many people, and then it takes time to realize that they all came to cheer for you, for your team, and you know, it was good.
Has it been a little bit strange to deal with that sort of pendulum of public support? You know, and after Turkey, you seem to have the wind behind you. After Britain, it seemed to be a lot of the British media were trying to go a little bit, you know, negative on that. You know, just how do you block that out and allow yourself to keep focused on the job at hand?
It's not easy. So the way I see it, you know, you should always keep the respect, and I try to judge things as fair as I can. Obviously, you always have your own opinion. When you have an incident and you crash with another guy, you will always say, okay, I was here and there and I did this and that, and it was his fault, it was my fault, whatsoever. But you should basically be yourself and not try to, you know, be someone else or try to be someone you are not. And one day you are the hero, next day you are the idiot. So that's how life goes, unfortunately.
One thing that I understand, but what I think we try and articulate to the public, is just how difficult the inter-team relationship is. There's no sort of rule book of how to handle that relationship, is there?
No, but I think there's no clear rule. But I think again, you know, if you're a sportsman and you're a fair sportsman, then there's, I think, one rule you should always accept and live for, and that's, as I said, trying to keep the respect and be fair. You know, the other guy has the same chances as you, and you want to beat him fair and square. And so obviously a lot of things have been said and written in the past, in the last 2 weeks. We can't change that, but what we can change is what people might say and might write after this race, and that's what we have to focus on.
Is it at this point in the year, does pressure start to build more than at any other part of the season, because you really are now starting to hone in on that championship?
Well, I think it gets more tense. Obviously, you know, 2-3 races in, you can always say anything is possible, anything can happen, and you don't know really where you are. You don't know, will your car be good enough throughout the season? Will the team be able to keep up the pace and so on? But I think we do have a very, very strong car, a good team backing us up here on the circuit as well as in the factory in Milton Keynes, and everyone is working hard to stay where we are now, basically, you know, stay on top and make sure we still have the quickest car when we go into the last race in Abu Dhabi.
Obviously the championship is your goal. Just how patient can you be to see how this year unfolds? You know, how tragic would it be for you if you weren't able to secure it come the end of the year?
I think it's an interesting point you mentioned. I think that you have to be patient when you should be patient, and you have to be aggressive when you should be aggressive. And in the end, if you miss the championship, okay, you missed it, but you can accept it. Then you look back to these races where you have, you know, judged the situation wrong and done the wrong thing. Mistakes are human, so it's natural you do these mistakes. You need to learn, every one of us, every day. And as I said, you know, it's up to you to be patient when you have to be aggressive when you have to be, and that's the only way, I think, to achieve the big target and become world champion.
And look at this. Sebastian hasn't even appeared in the garage, and this is the level of interest. 7 or 8, maybe more photographers waiting for his arrival. How do you think he's dealt with this kind of intrusion, David? Because it's the first time in his career that he's really been under the spotlight.
Well, indeed, you know, he had an event at his hometown where 120,000 people turned out. You know, he really didn't know whether that many people would turn out. He does now. You know, a lot of pressure on him coming into the German Grand Prix, but he's delivered through qualifying. And I think that the Red Bull environment, the people around him, allows him to sort of deflect a lot of that building pressure from the media.
I find him such a complex and interesting individual, Eddie, because he's the kind of driver that is ruthless enough to take the front wing from his teammates. And we heard Lewis Hamilton yesterday saying he'd never even consider doing that. Yet he'll turn up at a campsite in the evening with a load of German fans and have fun with them. He's fun, yet he's so driven as well, isn't he? You almost don't see that.
I think he's a breath of fresh air. He is a fantastic asset to this sport. He does everything right. I remember interviewing him last race at Silverstone when he came on the grid. at a rock concert. He played Smoke on the Water with Deep Purple. It was fantastic. This guy is very, very well liked, and he's such a different change from where German drivers were before.
You said he tried to play Smoke on the Water. Was he no good?
No, he was fine. And anyone who turned up in front of that audience and, with German, and he was cracking jokes about the position, what was going on with Mark Webber, he did it and handled it brilliantly. He would make a fabulous world champion because he has a very good clue about how to work the media. He's very personable, and he's a really delightful boy to work with.
OK, so another big race weekend then for Red Bull. Sebastian Vettel, who still hasn't appeared behind us, will start on pole position. His teammate Mark Webber starts in 4th. But it's a big weekend also for Ferrari. They